Hi, I'm Tracy, VE3TWM. Thank you for tuning in to Outdoors on the Air. Those of you who follow my channel will know that my ham radio passion is HF portable operation. I have two HF transceivers that I have used for years in the field, a Yaesu FT-891D and a Yaesu FT-817ND. Recently, I considered adding a Yaesu FT-891 to my portable gear collection. The 891 was released by Yaesu in 2016. It covers 160 to 6 meters in all modes, has a mobile unit form factor, and sells for a very competitive price. The 891 has quite a list of impressive specifications, some of which were of great interest to me. I don't make any decisions without doing a fair bit of research, so I read everything I could find in regard to the 891. I discovered a lot of hams were very pleased with their 891s. In addition to that, I had seen a number of prominent YouTube publishers using this rig in the field with good success. So the market has received this rig well. But is it really a great HF portable transceiver? I decided to purchase an FT-891 and see for myself just how suitable this rig is to outdoor operation. Before I go further, I think it's important to specify how I use HF radios in the field. Any conclusions I come to may or may not apply to your own use case, so please bear this in mind as you watch. Here is my methodology when operating HF portable. I am strictly a single sideband op. Though I harbor no ill will to any other modes, I just don't use them. Additionally, when in the field, I do not run more than 20 watts RF output. This is not just an arbitrary decision, by the way. Running 20 watts gives me the most bang for the buck in terms of radiated signal and battery life. My typical operations are either parks on the air activations or participating in contests and field day while camping. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the positives the FT-891 brings to the table. First up, and this one might seem to be a bit controversial to some viewers, it's not a Chinese radio. While Chinese rigs have flooded the market in recent years and represent good value at a low dollar entry point, they typically do not offer decent resale value. Many have been problematic with spotty support. As the FT-891 is a product of one of the big three Japanese ham radio manufacturers, none of those negatives apply. As far as the 891's reliability goes, in all my research I came across very few complaints with respect to failures. This record of quality manufacture is greatly relevant when searching for a rig that will be used in environments more challenging than a home shack desk. Another point which must be made in favor of the FT-891 is that there is no other 100-watt rig from a respected manufacturer at anywhere near this price that offers the combination of build quality and range of features the 891 does. This is a huge plus that must be a primary consideration. Next up, the 891 has a form factor that is well suited to being packed up and taken outdoors. It's a compact unit that can be easily stowed into a backpack. I even took it on a canoe trip into the wilderness last year, the type of trip where everything you pack along must be small enough to fit into limited gear space. Additionally, the 891 is fairly rugged and has good heft, letting you know that build quality was a design consideration. While you wouldn't want to treat it roughly, you do get the impression that it will withstand the rigors of portable operation if handled appropriately. Another significant feature is the dual fans. This cooling system ensures the 891 can handle hot summer temperatures like those often encountered on field day. Speaking of temperature extremes, the built-in temperature-controlled crystal oscillator will keep the unit on frequency even in very cold weather. A portable rig isn't much good if you can't see what's going on via the front panel. As such, the 891 offers a display that is readable even in bright sunlight. While we are on the topic of sensory matters, you can't consider a rig's suitability for portable operation without paying serious attention to the receiver's ability to produce loud, clear audio from the built-in speaker. The 891 has strong audio, more than sufficient to provide good sound without the need to cart along an external speaker. The points mentioned up to now are critical to me. Now let's consider some of the not necessary but nice to have features that the 891 offers. The 891 is not a direct replacement of the legendary FT-857, as that older model includes all mode coverage of 2 meters and 70 centimeters. But for years now, hams have been clamoring for an updated version of the 857 with IF-DSP filtering. Yaesu is clearly listening, as one of the 891's best-known features is its effective IF-DSP filtering. The DSP provides good results, both for narrowing the passband to help minimize close-in QRM and reducing background noise. As a portable op, my primary interest was the effectiveness of the DSP in combating interference from strong signals on a nearby frequency. Another standard feature helping out in this regard is the built-in 3 kHz roofing filter. The combination of IF-DSP bandwidth filtering and the roofing filter provide a nice step up in performance from the AF-DSP found in the FT-857. One of my favorite FT-891 features is the 3 programmable function keys found just below the display. The ability to customize the purpose of these keys to your 3 most often used functions is an outstanding attribute, especially in light of the 891's arcane menu system. As an example, I assigned my F keys to turn on and off the attenuator, activate an external tuner, and toggle the narrow IF filter. One last feature I'll mention that could be very handy is the voice keyer. That's a nice capability to have, especially in a contest or field day environment. Now let's shift our focus to the negative side of the user experience. While reading up on others' reactions to this transceiver, I saw one complaint come up time and time again. Many users lamented the lack of a built-in antenna tuner. I tend to use resonant antennas in the field, so I do not consider this missing component in the stock configuration to be an issue. In fact, I appreciate the smaller form factor and lower price allowed by omission of a tuner. So for me at least, the antenna tuner exclusion is not a negative on my list. As previously mentioned, the 891 is for the most part solidly built, but I worry about the knobs on the front panel. They are a bit plasticky, so I feel the need to make sure the rig is carefully packed when I take it out into the field. The FT-891, due to its long list of impressive features, is not the type of rig you can just turn on and never look at the manual. Notice my use of the word manual. That's singular, not plural. There are 2 manuals for the FT-891. Why should a user need to guess which document contains the information they need? If the user guesses wrong, as I have on occasion, they'll need to open the second volume. That is not a great user experience. At this point, I'd like to draw your attention to the Yaesu spec sheet for the FT-891. The very first line you see in the ad is New Exciting Yaesu Field Gear. Further down, you'll see the FT-891 is an innovative, multi-band, multi-mode, mobile, portable transceiver with ultra-compact and rugged case design. Yaesu used the words field and portable. Therefore, I will have a clear conscience after voicing my displeasure with the following items. To help position my biggest criticisms of the 891, let's take a walk back in time for a bit of a Yaesu history lesson. The portable-friendly models that preceded the FT-891 in Yaesu's line became legendary due to what were strong feature sets for the time, The FT-817, FT-857, and FT-897 all sported good human interfaces and specification lists. Being compact units, a long list of menu items were necessary. In those rigs released 20 years ago, Yaesu did something simple but brilliant. The menu items were all listed in alphabetical order. Need to bump up your output power? Scroll down the list to the R's, and there you would find RF output. There were a few odd naming conventions that caused a bit of confusion, but for the most part, the alphabetically aligned list was logical and made changing settings quick and easy. Now let's address the menu system Yaesu has employed in the FT-891. It's not in alphabetical order. Some grouping has been applied, but in this ham's opinion, the usability of this rig was reduced considerably by the resulting mishmash. Now for my penultimate gripe with the 891. The spec sheet indicates a 2 amp current draw on receive. It's commonly known now that this number does not match real-world results. My own FT-891 draws 1.06 amps on receive. That's much better than 2 amps, but still a big draw on battery power. My admittedly much less sophisticated FT-897 only draws 600 milliamps on receive. Granted, there's a wide difference in features between the two rigs, but 1 amp is still a lot for portable use. You'll want to use lithium iron phosphate batteries with the 891 rather than less expensive SLAs. I can't help but feel this rig draws too much power to be classified as a great HF portable rig. Okay, it's time for the big one. There's a workaround, but it's very annoying. This one is also a prime example of Yaesu bafflingly abandoning their very good practices from years gone by. Let's take a look at my FT-897's display. Right there in the upper corner is an input voltage readout. While operating, I can keep tabs on how my battery is doing. I know I need to pull the plug and switch batteries when the voltage drops to a certain point. This is actually a critically important feature for portable ops. With many modern rigs, you run the risk of damaging the transceiver if you feed them with too low a voltage. Yaesu's own spec for input voltage on the 891 is 13.8 volts, plus or minus 15%. That means you'd better not let the input voltage drop below 11.73 volts. Let's go take a look at the 891's display to view where they put the indicator for this extremely important measurement. Oh wait, it's not there! There is no option for a persistent display of input voltage. The only time you can see this number is when the rig is turned on, at which point the number is flashed briefly on screen. Yaesu, why in God's name did you drop this hugely important function? And I did mention a workaround. That would be an external voltmeter. But while this is an effective backup, it now means you have to draw your eyes away from the radio display while operating. By not having the number right in front of you while you're operating, it's easy to forget this very important logistic. There you have my list of positives and negatives. It might seem to you that I do not like the 891 at all, but this is not the case. The 891 offers a ton of great features at an affordable price point. This unit definitely has enough going for it to be a cost-effective base station or mobile HF transceiver. I can certainly understand its appeal as a rig for parks on the air operation, as those deployments tend to be only 2 or 3 hours long. But for someone like me who operates for longer durations in the field, I've just never warmed up to the 891. As a result, the 891 falls just short of being great. For my needs, I'll classify it as a very good HF portable transceiver. So what do you think? Do you have any additional points, positive or negative, that I did not mention? Please leave your thoughts in the comment below. That's all for this time. Thank you for watching. Now it's your turn. Get out of the shack, get outdoors, and get on the air. 73 from Tracy, VE3, TWM.